Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle here with another edition of WNBA Weekly. There are so many things that happened over the weekend, so I don't want to go too much into detail about it. But here's the gist of this weekend's events. Phoenix and Tulsa got their first wins of the season, so there are no longer any winless teams in the league. The Sky and Dream got their first losses of the season, so now there are no longer any undefeated teams in the league. And for me, one of the biggest news stories was that Ivory Latta's grandfather passed away on Tuesday, and she has honored his memory greatly by leading her team to 2 incredible wins. And my condolences to you and your family, and I sincerely respect you for playing through this emotional time and coming up big. Also over the weekend, there is a little bit of injury news to report. Carson suffered a torn ACL in her left knee and will miss the rest of the season. Brittney Griner missed Saturday's game due to a left knee sprain, and when asked how long Griner would be out, Coach Gaines said that it doesn't look bad, but he really doesn't know. I decided to talk about the standings just briefly. For those of you who don't know where everyone is placed, in the Eastern Conference, right now at number 1, you've got the Chicago Sky, and followed behind by Atlanta Dream, Washington Mystics, New York Liberty, and then 5th and 6th are the Connecticut Sun and the Indiana Fever. So if the playoffs started right now, Chicago would have home field throughout. And in the Western Conference, you've got Minnesota number 1, Los Angeles number 2, then San Antonio, Seattle, Phoenix, and Tulsa. So in the Eastern Conference, it's kind of stacked. I expected it to be competition, but I didn't think Washington would do this well. I expected Connecticut and Indiana to be better. I figured they'd both be putting together some wins. It seems like both of those teams have struggled getting started, especially due to the injuries. But the season is still young, so fans of those teams, don't give up on them yet. Fans of the other teams, don't count them out yet, because the season is still brand new. We still got 30 games to go. And in the Western Conference, other than Phoenix, who basically they bottomed out, so they really only have up to go from here, everything else has basically happened, how I expected. And also today I wanted to make an announcement. Those who watched my videos during the NFL season know about a little something I called the Fan Awards. I have decided to do that for the WNBA. I didn't do it in the NBA because 30 teams playing 80 games is way too much for me to keep up with while I'm also in the middle of a school year. But over the summer with no school and only 12 teams playing 34 games, I'm not having too much trouble keeping up right now. So I've decided that at the end of the WNBA regular season, I will give the Fan Awards for League MVP and Rookie of the Year. I'm also considering 6th Woman of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, but I'm not 100% sure on those yet. I can't do Most Improved because I didn't pay enough attention last year. So there are only 2 games being played this week, but both of them offer some excitement. The first one is on Tuesday, San Antonio at Minnesota. The Silver Stars travel to Minnesota to take on the star-studded Lynx. This game is not being broadcast nationally, so check your local listings, or you can watch it on live access. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And one milestone that I found is Rebecca Brunson. Her next rebound will tie her with Chastity Melvin for 12th on the all-time list. And my preview for this game is that Minnesota is no longer undefeated on the season, and San Antonio has managed to put together a few good wins against some formerly undefeated teams. And I definitely expect this to be a contest. Then on Wednesday you have Connecticut at Indiana. The 2 teams at the bottom of the Eastern Conference look to turn around their seasons after a slow start. This game will be broadcast on ESPN2 starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My preview is that both of these teams feature future Hall of Famers leading their roster. I expect big plays on both ends of the floor. Both of these teams have been struggling thanks to injuries to key players, and I especially think that the Fever should turn it around sooner rather than later. Well, that's it for this edition of WNBA Weekly. I'll tune in on Friday for another new episode, and until then, I'm your host Nathan Lyle. This has been The Fan Perspective. Happy Monday.